Welcome to the Side Hustle Heroes HQ podcast. This is podcast number 12. What's up, man?
Hey, bud.
So yeah, man, we had a lot to talk about today, as usual.
As usual.
An interesting last couple weeks. Not great numbers for the last 7 days. We'll talk about those in a little bit. I have a couple theories. I don't know if you have some theories as well, but the reality is things are always being shaken up by Amazon. So it never means stop posting videos, right? That's one thing about it. People are like, I have all these videos. I used to make this much. Are you happy with what you're making though? If you're making 3,000, you used to make 6,000. Is 3,000 still pretty good money? You know, you have to, and I know it's like, there's a little disappointment when he's like, well, I made more last month. And that's the way things are sometimes. But hey, that's the reality of this game. So things are constantly changing. The only thing that's really inevitable is change, right? So
well, you've got a little good news to kind of share about some products that you put up a while back. So
yeah,
I look forward to hearing about that. What else are we going to go over today?
So today we're going to talk about pushing through. Jim Ed's going to talk about pushing through those times when you've got a ton of videos you want to do. You may have some products from some suppliers. You just need to get, you have a full-time job, you're tired. How do you push through and get those things done? So that's a big thing. And then also he's going to give me maybe another update. He's been talking a lot about these suppliers he's working with or whatever, these agents, whatever that he's working with. He'll give you an update on that. I've been working on getting a second account. I'll give you an update on that as well. Those are the other things I was going to talk about. So
we're going to hit our numbers.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah. Also going to talk about he mentioned this, is the fruit of doing reviews. So I did some reviews a couple months ago. My sister-in-law's house, I've mentioned this on podcasts. There was a certain thing, wallpaper or something that I just I got no sales on the wallpaper. So I figured it just is not something that people are wanting to watch reviews for. But over the last couple of days, I got one 2 or 3 days ago, and I got another one last night that was like, I don't know, $5 or $10 commission. So someone bought a bunch of wallpaper. So it's those kind of things too. And I also had a vacation, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Nothing hit for a couple of weeks, and now I'm starting to get some sales from that. So I know it's when you're getting started, especially look at this as far as I did 30 or 40 video reviews, and I'm making either nothing or $5 or $10. We saw Cody had a similar situation where it was like, I'm at $2 again, I'm at 0. And one time he actually was looking at the wrong report. So look at the right report. Make sure you're looking at the right report.
Yeah, that helps.
But secondly, you got to hang in there. This is in for the long haul, so don't get discouraged. Amazon's always tweaking things. Sometimes when they tweak things, it works out better for you, and then maybe for others it doesn't. So maybe it's just that the average is the same, but some people do better, some people do worse, and it's always being shaken up. So that's what we're talking about today. Looking forward to getting into the details. I have a good buddy of mine I had dinner with him, and I started talking to him about what I'm doing. He's excited. He may be one of these people that we get on our podcast eventually. We're going to have him see if he can get on I'm really excited. Sorry, I'm like, woo, jazzed up. We're going to see if we can get him in on Amazon Influencer. So I'm coaching him right now. Would love to be able to have him, James, our buddy James Brown. Yeah. Okay. Love to get him on a podcast with us once he gets in. So anyway, excited to talk about this. Let's do our numbers. Jim Ed, I'm on full throttle here.
So
I'm going
to
slow down a little bit.
I know James too, and James will be a treat on the podcast. That is for sure.
Excellent. All right, just do your 30 day.
Why don't you do yours first?
All right, cool. My 30-day numbers, still over 1,000 and feeling good about those numbers, 1223. My 7-day numbers have probably been the lowest since I've been, I don't know, cannot remember. It's probably like the last 5 or 6 weeks. It was $170. So I've been trending over 300 and now I'm 170. So it's a little bit of a blip. I had several really low days, single days, like single as in $5, $6, $7 days or something like that. And then last night I did yesterday I did $25. So if I'm at 20 or higher, I'm okay with it. I really want to be at 50 or higher. I did have one $75 day a couple of days ago, but I'm not disappointed when I get over 20 because that means it's $600. I want to be trending over between 1,000 and 2,000, which means to me it's over 30. 30, 35 to 50, I'm happy with that as far as the number of videos I have right now. So as I do more videos, though, I want to be obviously closer to 100. But
how many videos do you have?
I think I'm at about, I uploaded a bunch more. I haven't counted lately. I think it's over 120 now because I just uploaded about 10 more from somewhere else. And a really cool thing too, my father-in-law, I mentioned like, hey, I want to get to your house and do some reviews. He was working with something yesterday. He did a review for me. He goes, I got something for you, Andrew. And so it just shows, tell your family about these things. Tell your friends about these things. I mean, your family is really, they want to see you be successful. My dad's actually helping me with some Amazon stuff. I had some things I needed him help with. And he's like, Andrew, I don't know how to do all this stuff. If you're patient with me, I want to help you succeed.
Wow.
And so he's in there, he's retired, he's looking for something to do. So just remember that. You probably have some people, your parents, think about your parents, love my parents, and they're looking for something to do a lot of times. So is there something they can do for you? So not using people, but make sure that you think about opportunities for other people to serve you and to help you. And in most cases, they're really happy about that.
Yep,
So
yep.
cool.
No,
Jim, yeah.
I can go along with that. It's like, the wife and I have been spending a lot of time together doing these videos together. Sometimes it's hectic. It's a lot like a job. It really is at this point. But,
Yeah.
it's stuff that we can do together. And it's kind of a special treat whenever you get to do something with somebody that you don't hang around with every
Right.
day.
Yeah.
You've got something intentional to go hang out with somebody about.
Right.
So that's cool. So my 30-day numbers, and let me just preface this. I'll try to keep this clear because I know when you're listening, it's hard to hear numbers and kind of follow. So I'm going to kind of round them and make them real easy. So my numbers for my last 30 days is 5,460. That's down a little bit because I'm typically trending along the 6,000 a month deal.
Wow,
okay?
that's better than I thought it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
The last
So-
2 weeks have been rough though.
Yeah,
for both of
have
us.
been for me too. So 5460, so I'm down about $500 for the last 30 days. And then the last 7 days, 965. So that should be more along $1,500.
Okay,
So
yep.
so actually that part is way down on the last 7. So what that's telling you is that 54 is down, but most of that down is over the last 7 days.
So this is an example of he's trending pretty close to $4,000. If you multiply the 7 times 4, it's still good, right? It's still really good.
Yeah.
But again, you're used to where you were before.
Well,
So
okay, so
yeah.
not only am I used to where I was before, I'm taking this is side hustle. This is definitely hobby, but I take this very seriously. All of my side hustles have gone aside. I had a
Yeah,
guy call me
yeah.
last night about putting a fence up, and I told him, I said, look, he's a buddy of mine. I was like, here's the deal. I really don't have time to take on a project of that size. It was a smaller project, but I always take on really small projects when it comes to fencing, and his was going to be a little longer. It would probably take me 2 full days, and I just can't afford to be away from my
how much would you make in those
influencer program.
2 full days?
I would imagine that I would probably make $1,500.
Yeah, I see what you're saying
So
though. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a pretty fair amount. There is some stuff I am doing with the turf still, where I'm going to spend probably just a few hours. I've got somebody else covering all of the supervision of the project, the labor, all of that. I just turn it over to him, and I just do a markup on it, and that'll I'll get a $4,000 or $5,000 over a couple hours.
Right.
So that I'm not going to turn away, but
So what's the
definitely
moral?
focused on my Amazon influencer program.
What's the moral of the story for the audience then?
Just you can keep other side hustles going. Just make sure that you've got your priorities in order.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So anything else that you've turned away? You kind of feel like it's
No,
not fun
like
enough?
a lot of the stuff right now is just kind of out of season, and that to me that's kind of a little bit of a segue of what's happening
Yeah.
with this Amazon program. I've got products that are moving out of season. We're definitely out of the spring time. Let's get things done in the yard. We're moving out of the let's do improvements as much, and I'm seeing it in my numbers for sure. And we're right in the middle of this whole back to school. It's either just started to happen or they're just getting back, and all that happens across the U.S. And really it kind of starts into the first week of August, all the way up into the first week or so of September. They
Right.
start in different areas of time. In Texas, here where you and I are at, they start middle of August. In the Northeast, they're starting like the first week of September. So all households, including ours, is just upside down right now, busy with just stuff that's not the norm. And then just the Amazon orders just kind of seem to cease.
Let's talk about seasonality first. So you're thinking, well, if you're an Amazon seller already, if you're selling like what I do, you're going to look and say, I look at those products. Those products sell year-round. Backpacks, whatever, they sell year-round. So what are you talking about? They do sell year-round, but if you look at the seasonality, there is a dip, and we're talking percentages. So if something's selling, there might be something selling 100 times a day, right? Jim Ed, you might sell whatever that is you're selling maybe once every couple days, which is pretty good, right? But when that thing dips down, it's still selling, maybe selling 50 times a day, which is a lot. But we're talking percentages and percentages, right? So when we're getting sales here, we're just getting a little bit of that revenue for that. What's the matter?
stay slow.
We might get a little bit of that revenue. We're just getting a small percentage of that revenue for that product. So the things that we're making, oh, I made 2 sales in the last couple of days. There's probably 100 plus sales of some of those things. And so keep in mind, you're kind of like you're a percentage of a percentage, and you're sharing that pot with other people who also have videos. So I'm just giving you a sense for he's seeing some true seasonality shifts. It's like, because like when you see the pool stuff, for instance, when it's taken off, it's still, the pool stuff's still selling, not as much. And so by the time it gets down to you, you're getting just trickles.
Yeah, it kind of hits a frenzy level at some
Right.
point. And if you're on that listing during that frenzy level, you may be getting 4 or 5 sales a day.
Right.
Which is still, like you're saying, a percentage of a percentage. It's very small.
Right.
You mentioned backpacks. I put 1 backpack. Did I have more than 1 backpack at my house? Yes, but for some reason, I didn't listen to my wife, and I put 1 backpack on there. And I looked at it, and I had sold 25 of those backpacks in a week's time. So
and now what?
So now I messed around and went ahead and put another backpack up.
Is it still selling, that backpack?
Yeah.
25 still?
I don't know about it
Or
in
is
a
it-
week. Well, I don't. So here's the thing, though, to keep in mind. While school has already started back in our area, doesn't
True.
mean that it's still back to school in other areas. So I jumped on real quick and put another backpack video of Devin's on there, so my son, so that maybe we could get some sales off of that too.
When I was in high school, it was just cool to carry your books like this. If you had a backpack, you got kicked in the face.
Well, you had a locker
Or
too,
kicked
right?
in the back. Maybe
you,
not
You
kicked
had
in
a
the
locker
face.
to go switch yours out, right?
I did.
I did too. They don't do that anymore. They carry everything with them all the time.
So were we kind of cooler then?
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The next thing I want to ask you about is Amazon. So what are they seasonality is important, but are they doing something to shift the numbers we're seeing? You were down last week. I was down last week. What are your theories? I have some theories myself, but what are your theories about what might be going on with Amazon?
So my theory is Amazon is doing a little bit of just moving some stuff around so that it keeps the website, the buying page looking fresh. So they had started off, when I first started the program, there were 6 videos on the carousel for reviews to watch. Now I've seen it at 10 videos to choose from. And right now, currently as of today, it's at 5. So I've seen it where it's right there kind of towards the top. For the most part, the 10 videos have been at the very bottom of the page. Now sometimes there's a button that you push to see the reviews and video uploads.
You still seeing that a little bit? I haven't seen it much. I saw it briefly a couple weeks ago.
As of lately, it hasn't been. But then there's only the 5 videos on there. So
I've seen also something that says related videos only.
Yes.
And so it's really weird. So I was like, this is a product I've been on from day one of my first reviews. And so I looked, and it just says, I think my video is no longer there because it says related videos. But then on top, they had a video for the product. I think I'm still in that top carousel, which is, it's really weird. But if you click that video, the manufacturer video, and you kind of scroll up a little bit, from your phone, you can see those other videos. And I'm still on there. But they're doing some screwy things for sure.
Well, I like the related video thing.
But where's okay, go ahead.
And here's the reason I like the related video. So you're looking at a product, you go down and you look at the reviews on the product, and then I often, when I'm shopping, I'm also looking at related products because I haven't decided that is the product. So now, not only do I get other related ideas for me to look at, I get other videos of related ideas. So I might not be on the listing, but they may keep my video in there as a related video to something else.
But why would it not be? Why are they removing the main video for that product? It's not even anywhere to be
Well,
found.
they're not. The main video for that product is, there's 5 to select from on that, and then if you scroll down further, there's another 5 of related. It's not related.
No, what I'm
only.
saying is, I looked at a listing and I didn't see anywhere where it said videos related to this, videos about this product, whatever. I didn't even see that anymore. I only saw related.
Okay.
Does
Well,
that
what
make
you need
sense?
to do there is quit looking at weird stuff.
What do you mean?
You're looking at weird stuff that nobody cares about.
I told
They're
you.
trying to get you off of that onto something
Yeah.
that the mainstream's looking at.
My thing's a mainstream
They're trying to
seller.
get you to where all the cool kids are. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, seriously though. I see actual reviews for the products, and then below that, related products, and I'm all for that.
When you say reviews, you mean videos?
Video reviews, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
So it's a little, so you can tell, it's even, Jim Ed and I are just, it's a little confusing because they are shifting things around. It's not consistent either. It's not about
No.
across all the products. So that's something that, so again, when we're talking, I feel like sometimes we're telling these stories about what we're doing. There's always challenges and obstacles. Okay, so to Amazon, they're not trying to make life difficult for us. They're probably just trying to test some things. Okay, so we talked about maybe it's the whole idea they're moving things around just to keep things fresh. They're also probably moving things around. They've got, I mean, with AI especially, and Amazon is cutting edge on a lot of things, right? So they are the e-commerce giant, right? So they're going to be like, we want to test some things. Let's move things here. Let's look and see over the next million sales. Let's see what this is doing to our revenues, our profits, right? So they're going to probably test and tweak some things. So it's kind of like a website. Let's do some A/B testing, right? Very common language there. Let's move one thing. Let's change one thing, and they're probably doing this across millions of listings, right? So it's almost, I almost figure it's this AI thing going on where they're just testing just a whole bunch of different things across a whole bunch of different websites. Which to the websites, what I mean by websites is product listings, right? So they're probably doing a bunch of testing. It drives people crazy, but you got to realize we don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes, but you have to kind of put yourself in there, you know, a little bit the way Amazon's looking at things. And it's hard, but they have other agendas than we do. Our whole agenda is make money. They want to make money also, but it's not about us only. It's about them, right? They need us, right? They like what we're doing, but they have their ways of doing things, and it's going to happen. I like to sort of recap, like, so what? What's the so what? The so what is, it's things are constantly changing, but what you need to do as a result of it, I think you should still keep on uploading videos. So you got to power through it. It is interesting. We do this because it really, I say it's our job to do this. We're doing podcasts. We want to be informed, okay? So we need to be doing that. But I would actually say for most people, you should probably just put your nose to the grindstone and just don't worry about that. Just keep cranking videos out, because I've said this multiple times. Some people, when they see things like this, they just quit. They do go, there's too much stuff going on. It's too confusing. I quit. Don't quit. Keep doing this. And the worst thing is, you're listening to this saying, I don't know if I want to do this. You were interested. You listened to a couple of our podcasts. You still haven't done anything. And now you're hearing this. You're just like, is it really worth it? Yes, it's worth it. It's worth it. Okay. There's everything you do. There's going to be issues. There's going to be things changing. Okay. So no matter what it is, like when I had my day job, there's concerns about timelines, and clients are upset with something, or your internal clients are want you to do something differently, or having to get along with all these different people that you work with. So that was a struggle then, and then or a struggle, whatever. There was some challenges there, but you figure out how to do it. And now, like on my side business, now it's become full time. I'm working with some people to help me pack and ship stuff, but it's mostly me doing my thing. But guess what? I still run into issues. I got people returning products. I have when the retailers or manufacturers are sending me products, sometimes they send me the wrong product. The product is damaged. Amazon's doing some weird things sometimes. So no matter what area you're in with your day job too, you have your problems. Some things are unique to your job. Some things are unique to your side hustle. But there's issues everywhere you go. So what I would say what you need to do is, there's always going to be obstacles. You just got to power through those things and just decide, is this something that you can deal with? If you can't deal with it, it's too much to deal with, then maybe it's not for you. But I would say there's a lot of things in life it's worth fighting for. You have to decide if it's worth your time and effort. Like we were saying before, doing a fence, it's hot out there, you can make $1,500. Is it really worth your time for the hassle? Probably not. Now, something else, is it worth making some phone calls, hopefully that the people who are doing the turf, whatever, you're aligned with them, they're doing a good job, then that can be a good project. So I hope that makes sense. So I think everything has its costs and benefits.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I will say one thing along the lines of encouragement.
Yeah.
I looked through my stuff the other day, seeing where my views were coming from, and I looked back, and there was a product that I had reviewed in March when I first started, one of my first 3 videos. It's still getting views, so
nice.
It's still up on the page. And and what is this? 7 months later? That's great. I'm curious to see, after I've been doing this for a year, if some of the videos that I had that were seasonal for spring shows up again next spring. If that's the case, I don't have to reshoot those. That's going to be a really big deal.
And I've mentioned this multiple times. I'll keep mentioning it. There's a lag. So There's stuff I reviewed 2-3 months ago, got nothing. Now I'm getting some sales. There's things that fell off. I did a coffee. I'll just tell you what it is. It's a coffee maker. I can tell you exactly the kind of it. But coffee makers sell really well, but there's a lot of competition, okay? So I stopped selling. I haven't sold a coffee maker for probably 3 months. And then last couple of days I've sold multiple of them. So I don't know. Is it because I have other related coffee makers, so they're kind of putting that back on there? Who knows? Again, you can just scratch your head all day and just like, I don't know what's going on with this, but just keep putting stuff up. And I see sales for things like, what is that? Oh, it's related to this other thing that I think I got some sales for, right? So there's just I love looking at my, that's the first thing I do every morning. I mean, my deal, like watching the numbers come in, but then the next thing I look at the details, I'm always curious, like what I've sold the prior day. Do you do the same thing?
I do on that.
Yeah.
I look through the process.
So as long as we keep on making money, we're going to keep on doing this.
And I think the program is going to always be around to some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're in it in good times right now. So is it always going to be this good? I don't know. That's why we're telling you guys, like, if you're on the fence, if you're just listening or watching this and you're just like, I'm not really sure, there's no risk to try to do this. I would say just do it. The only risk is time, but it's working now, so get in. It's not, I hope we're doing our podcast next year at this time. We'll find out, but we'll find out how things are going with Amazon influencers. But you just never know. I just know right now it's pretty good money relative to other opportunities out there.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was kind of thinking about this yesterday. It's like, I wonder what would happen, and I'm not going to test this out. I was like, I just wonder what would happen if I just never posted another video and just stopped right now. On the Amazon Associates, that's where you're putting a link in the description, like for me on my YouTube channel, that got all the way up to like $80 a month at one point, and then it kind of just drifted off, and I've slowed down on the YouTube as well, doing the Amazon thing here. And that's the thing. Keep this in mind. One of the things about getting this started is other things are going to get pushed aside, especially if you're getting some pretty good success like I am with this. You're most likely going to go, hey, I really don't have time for this anymore. I need to do my Amazon stuff. So that is part of the thing. And if you're on the fence about doing it and you're not a person that kind of will push through or get a community together to where, at least you've got one or two friends that are encouraging you to doing it, or that's doing it alongside, and you're bouncing things off. We don't do videos together, but we talk about it all the time. So, this is working, this is not working. It's just encouragement for each other. If you're not going to go the trouble to do that, probably be easier off just to, unsubscribe, but listen to the podcast, don't worry with it. So, but for everybody else, I think you should just get Nancy over here. But no, don't do that.
No. I was actually thinking about something else. So a lot of times, how in conversation you're thinking about what you're going to say next. You aren't really listening to the other person.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here.
Okay.
So how often do you do that, Jim Ed?
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
No, it's easy to do. I try not to.
Yeah, so what you need to do, Jim Ed, is listen to this podcast because you'll get some valuable information from me, maybe even from yourself.
From where I wasn't listening.
Because it's a listener. Maybe you can be as a listener. You're like, Andrew, that podcast was amazing. Some of the things you said were amazing. Wow. Yeah. Earth-shattering.
So as you've guessed, Andrew listens to the podcast. We won't out him on how many times he listens to it, but I have before, but I typically don't.
That's disheartening for sure, especially for our listeners.
But I'm here. I'm here for the whole thing.
Okay. Anyway. So what I was going to say is, so he's got his main side hustle, and that's admirable that he's saying, you know what, I want to focus on this one almost solely. And now with me, I've realized, and we talked about this, that my FBA business, for those of you who don't know, it's fulfillment by Amazon. That's what I've been doing the longest, and that's what's bringing the most money right now. So I have to do that. I lost my job a couple months ago. I've been applying. I haven't got anything there yet. But the more I'm doing this, the more I'm thinking I want to keep on doing this. I mentioned this before. But so this Amazon influencers, while I'm really excited about it, it's still taking the back seat to my Amazon FBA. So my Amazon FBA, it's been doing about what I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's pretty close to what your numbers were when you were sort of at that $5,000 or $6,000
profit-wise.
Yeah, mine's getting pretty close to that. So I know it's a little hard to look at your costs because, with the way FBA is, you have all this inventory. You have this constant flux of, I'm buying inventory, I'm sending stuff in, there's stuff sitting there waiting to be sold. So it's a little bit more difficult, but I do have a tool that I use to track my profits. So, it's kind of a moving target. But yeah, that's what I'll give updates on that. But to me, it's not flexing to give you all these numbers about, I'm making this much money. But the idea is, whether you're making $50 or making $10,000. I think there's something you can learn from side hustles and from what we're talking about. So we try to get. I know we've been doing Amazon influencers from day one. We've always mentioned this every single podcast. This is podcast 12 now, right? So we're still talking about Amazon influencers. So if you guys are like, when are you going to talk about other stuff? You know,
Whenever you get into the comments on our Facebook group and ask, that's when we're going to.
yeah, exactly. So far, it's like, hey, there's some interest, and we're talking about other things too. I think a lot of the things we're talking about apply to a lot of other side hustles as well. So yeah. Anyway, all right, cool. So what do we want to talk about next? Do you want to talk about?
Well, we can talk.
Yeah.
You just want to talk about like the scaling part again. You know, with kind of what's going on with suppliers. I'd also like to just mention, you know,
Staying motivated.
yeah,
Let's talk about that part.
We've,
Yeah.
gosh, I've had a hard time this last week or so.
Oh, hang on. Before we do this, tell me about the number of videos you've put up. Maybe you kind of just missed that
Yeah.
question earlier. Number of videos you put up in the last week, and then how many you have up totally.
I'm not
in total.
sure how many I put up last week. 400. I'll be hit 400 videos
Nice.
today though. So we've done quite a few this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Last weekend I was not motivated at all.
Yeah.
And it really kind of took the weekend off. And then my wife also had to take a trip to the emergency room with a kidney stone, and she's still having some off and on issues with that a week later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of getting in the way because she really helps me a ton on this. But we've got some videos out, and hats off to her. She was kind of encouraging me yesterday. I did a few, and I was kind of like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, we got a lot coming in, a lot we need to get done. And she's making a good point. She's like, we've got 4 or 5 items showing up at the door every day that needs to be reviewed, and we're not doing 4 or 5 videos a day every day.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's starting to stack up a little bit. And this was part of my look 3 months down the road or so. I started really working kind of diligently, staying after the Chinese suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody had reached out and hasn't followed back up with some products for me to review, I kind of hit them back up and go, hey, are you still interested? Hey, are you still interested? A few times. Some will just ghost you, be the end of it, and that's fine. Some will have some junky products, and that's fine too. But I've gone from having 2.5, 3 suppliers that are sending me products to probably got about 6 or so now.
Nice.
That are steadily sending me pretty good products to review that are in my wheelhouse. And kind of the thing with me, I've got a big DIY type background, and I don't think a lot of their influencers have that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you an example. Somebody wanted to send me this, and I may have used this in a past podcast, so if I have, I'm sorry, but they sent me this little over the kitchen table light, and it's like, oh man, I'll have to it would work. I'd have to take the old light down, put that light up, and I was like, yeah, I said, I'm sorry, that's just going to take me too much time to do. Send me stuff in the future. I can do that kind of thing, but I'm not interested in it. And they hit me back and said, we'll pay you $70 to do it.
Yeah, that was last
I said, go ahead,
podcast.
send
For those listeners, it was last podcast,
Yeah.
guys.
So anyway,
yeah.
I did put that up yesterday, so I'll be
Cool.
I'll be
Good
excited
job.
to get paid on that one. That $70 is going to make it worth my time because I probably spent in total, say about 45 minutes putting that up, doing the video, maybe an hour all in with the edit because there's a little more to editing those. But it's just the sheer volume of stuff.
Yeah.
The wife got a spreadsheet out yesterday and was like, okay, these are items that you can do from the shop. This one has to be done in the garage. These have to be done outside. This time of the year, it's over 100 degrees. It starts off about 80 in the mornings and gets up to around 100 about 11 o'clock. So I'm out at about 11 for outside work. So
Yep.
hanging, solar lights. I'm getting freaking solar lights out the wazoo. This solar light, will you do this one? So, been doing
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, and it sounds like your wife is helping you with these things, which is really good. So if you don't really have a partner to help you, it's you can do more yourself. My wife is becoming more willing to help me, especially since she knows that we need to make money for sure. It's no longer, oh, you have your full-time job, you have your side hustle. But so she's helping me more, but she's busy too. So you can get, my in-laws are not too far from my house, so they could help me. So just find some people that can help you if you need to. It does help a lot when they can actually record, because I've done some things where I get in my office and I have a little tripod type thing with my camera. It's like a USB camera in front of my computer. It works okay, but it's not ideal because it's better to, hey, you're seeing, you're moving the camera around. You can't move a stationary obviously around very well. You can't, in fact. It's just yourself. That's what it means. That's what stationary means, right? So it really helps to be able to have someone. And in a lot of the videos I'm doing, I don't need to be on camera so much, but I think with a lot of the people you're working with, they are asking you to show your face. They want to be able to see your face, right? So
Absolutely.
that's something that's important. So yeah, just find ways to be creative to get people to help you. If it means buying, lunch for your friends or something, or somebody else, just make it work, because people are gonna, in this business, to be successful, you're gonna need to surround yourself with other people. This is not, while you can do a lot of these things solo, it's about relationships. We've mentioned this a million times, that to be really successful things, to take it to the next level, you have to have relationships, whether it's with people to help you with it or people who help you get these products to review.
Absolutely.
Anything else about like staying, any advice you have to people who are kind of getting discouraged or getting burned out? How do you prevent burnout? How do you kind of keep the work-life balance? All that stuff.
So just human nature is, like I've been suffering from, is just don't want to mess with it. So instead of doing that, let's go. I'm just told my wife yesterday. I said, look, we just need to go find 2 easy videos to do every day.
Yeah.
There's going to be days the evenings just don't permit it, but
yeah,
instead of butts in the recliner, let's go find the 2 easiest ones and go knock them out. Because what'll happen is you'll go knock out a couple easy ones, and you're like, we got everything set up. Let's go ahead and do a couple more, on and on. And this one, we do need to. It's getting kind of. We've had it a while. We need to get that one reviewed. That is one nice thing about setting up and being open and nurturing the relationship with somebody that's reaching out to you from China to review products. I am still batting 1,000 on this. Nobody has pulled anything on me. Everything's been above board, getting products in, getting paid. And I do a lot of free ones. I'm looking for more expensive products, and I'll do them for free. If it's a cheap product, I'll be like, it's going to have to pay a commission, unless it's somebody I have a relationships and I do a lot of videos for. Then maybe I'll do them a favor and do it for free. But they kind of know that.
I just thought about something. So it's just kind of off the topic, but I'm curious if you have the answer to this or not. So you've been doing this for a while. I have too. Do you notice any trend as far as like what videos you're actually getting money for? Is it the more recent ones, or is it the ones from the beginning, or is it just kind of a mix of all those?
It's a mix. What it's not the video that I just put up 2 days ago, typically. Okay?
Yeah.
There's just a lag.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, and I'm glad you asked that, because something I was thinking of earlier when Andrew was making some point about something I wasn't listening about was that, it's like making a viral video. So if you're an influencer and you've ever had a viral video, I have, you never know when you're going to have a viral video. So I've had some products that's, to me, gone viral with Amazon. I've made the lion's share of my money off of a few products. And when shooting those products, you're not going, oh yeah, this is going to be the one. As a matter of fact, typically when I am shooting one going, oh, this is going to be the one, it's not the one. So just shoot the products. I'll answer your question, but shoot the products. You're going to get a good one in there. I've gotten to the point where with my suppliers that I'm working with, I'm getting more and more suppliers in. It's really not uncommon for me to add maybe 3 or 4 suppliers a week.
Yeah.
I have good suppliers that's sending me quite a bit of product. I am now reaching the point where I'm trying to get some stuff figured out on what we're going to do. We got a lot done this weekend for reviews, but I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed with so much product. One of the things we discussed is like, what's going to happen when we run out of product. Real early on, we thought the first few weeks, hey, we're running out of product. Well, we also figured out that, hey, we're not running out of product. The product's everywhere. And then on top of that, I was kind of working on some of these Chinese relationships, if you will, just with these Chinese suppliers. And it's been great if you will be attentive and answer their questions, even if the questions aren't the answers they're looking for. It seems like they really appreciate it. I've said it, and I'm still in the same position. I'm still batting 1,000 on that. I don't have anybody that's done me wrong or not paid me. So what I'm doing now, as I would in any of my businesses, if I'm getting so busy that I can't handle all the work that's coming in, it's time to raise my prices. So a lot of these videos I do for free.
Yeah.
And I'm getting so many offers, will you do this video, will you do this video? And I ask now back, if it's something I really want, I can do it quick, let's do it. I got an offer for a ceiling fan the other day. I was like, that would look good in our living room. It would be an upgrade, but it's going to take me an hour to put this thing in, maybe an hour and a half all in shooting the video and getting it edited and put up. I just asked them, hey, can you pay a commission on this? So they had to check, and they come back and they said, yeah, we can pay a $20 commission. Well, $20 isn't that much. It doesn't really move the needle. But if I'm doing 10 videos on a weekend and I'm getting paid $20 on average per video, then it can kind of start adding up.
Absolutely.
And what I've also tried to do a little bit is, especially I had one that paid the $70, I put them as a priority.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to pay me $70 to do the video. When the product gets here, I'm doing the video. You're going to the front of the line. So that's part of my scaling. You got any thoughts on scaling?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're kind of prioritizing even the suppliers as well. You might be like, I'm already getting the $10 or $15 stuff. With me, I might be like, I need to get the $10 and $15 stuff first to be able to get the big stuff. But you have so many right now that you might be like, you know what? You might even say, that's not the kind of products I'm looking for. Unless they say, oh, I'll pay you $50. But I was gonna say, and then we talked about this too, and I'll just, I don't know if you remember my recommendation, but I think it's, you gotta be organized like anything else. Like, I don't necessarily have a spreadsheet. There's some people that we've been following that say you should put a spreadsheet of every single product that you want to do a video for, so you can just kind of track and just keep those things, you know, a list down of things so you don't forget about it. That's a good process. But I think for you, with all these, so usually when you get messages, like I've got messages on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, all these different places, and so sometimes email. So what I kind of recommended, and I'm going to start doing this myself, is whenever you get that first contact, take that information, put it in a spreadsheet, Google Doc or something like that. Say, here's the product, here's the information about like what I need to say, here's the link to the product, here's the date I received this, and then here's the person who sent the message, right? So you can keep track of all that stuff. So the problem is, you're like, okay, the product comes in, you're like, okay, this is whatever this is, some electronic or lights or something. Like, okay, like, who sent this now? Then who's this person? Where's that message? Was it Instagram or was it email? So that way, if you have a spreadsheet, you can say this was the email and this is when it was sent, so you can keep track of it. So be organized. We have to be organized with these kind of things. So I think if you're going to do a good job with this, you have to be organized, or else you're going to be overwhelmed. So use it. And there's simple systems, right? I mean, a spreadsheet is as simple as it gets, right? But just kind of keeping things in that organized framework makes a lot of sense.
It doesn't sound like that big a deal, but I am constantly going through my phone because most of it's from Instagram, a little bit of it's from WhatsApp, and a little less from email. And it's like, who sent me this product? I don't remember.
Right.
And when well, that's no big deal. Just jump on all three of them and look. Well, but when I go to Instagram and look, it's 9 different people it could have come from.
Right.
So and then the problem is it's long conversations. Do you want to do this?
Right.
Can you pay a commission? You know, blah blah blah.
That's another thing too. Put the commission.
Have you sent this? Has this gone out? And it's just like these back and it's like looking through your text messages with an individual, and you're just scrolling and oh, well, there it is. You know. So.
Yeah. So that's a lot of time. You know, time is money, right? So you know, your time is very valuable. All our time is valuable. But I'm saying when you have limited time, you have to get it done, right? So with me, if I get busy, I just won't do videos, but you kind of have to. You're committed to this, right? So I've got a couple suppliers right now, so it's not that big of a deal for me yet, but when I ramp up, it's going to be a different story. One thing about scaling, I did see, you know, I'm always following people. There's a good, and we'll put a little link to her YouTube. I really like this person, but she's been doing this probably about as long as we have, and I think she's up to probably 300 or 400 videos right now. But if she walked around her house in the video, and I'm gonna send you that video by the way too, is she's showing, you think you don't have that many products in your house? I'm gonna show you how many products in her house. So she went to her bathroom and is literally, and the little counter is saying, look, I have this soap here, I've got this face cleanser, here's my husband, he's got his shaving kit, ding, 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 ding. And then she went in her closet and she's like, jackets, shoes, belts, everything. So I started thinking, I haven't spent any time in my closet doing any reviews at all. Have you?
Yes, but not like you think. I pulled out a duffel bag, my workout duffel bag, pulled it out, took it out on the island, took everything out of it, and it was the same thing. Ding, 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 ding.
Did you
ding,
review
ding.
it?
I did. I reviewed everything in it, and I think I got about 8 reviews there.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, you're right. You just said belt. I've got belts that I've ordered off of Amazon that would be perfect.
Shirts, jackets, all those things like that. You think, well, who's going to review a shirt? They want to see the jacket. What does it look like? What's the fabric? How long does it last? And so, you know, it's like The Columbia, see like Columbia. Well, I got this at Academy. It's not going to be on Amazon. It may be. Some stuff isn't, but you just got to look and see, right? So and every time I think I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted. Well, I am exhausted sometimes, but I've exhausted the number of products that I can review, and it's like there's more. So, but what you're doing is you're going beyond that, right? You're going beyond to find other stuff. We already talked about this, going to friends' houses. And so I've had lunch with some people saying, do you want to do Amazon influencer? Yeah, I do. You sure? And like, yeah, I think I do. Okay, so listen to our podcast. Let's talk a little bit in a couple of weeks and see. And if they're like, yeah, it sounds like a great idea, but I don't know if I'm going to do it. Okay, can I come over to your house then and do some reviews? Yeah. Right? I mean, it's kind of fun, but it's kind of funny, but it's true that, and most of the people will say, I don't care. Come on over. Again, if they're going to have lunch with you, you've kind of opened up the sort of and this is not like a coworker going over to someone's house. This is someone like I go to church with. He's my buddy. We've talked many times. So you get that relationship with that person, and then they want to help you out.
Who is that?
None of your business, because I heard you had that lunch with that same person. What's interesting is we have the same circles, and so I'll be like talking with someone about like so and so, and then Jim Ed's name comes up, and it's like, yeah, I had lunch with him the other day. I'm like, why are you having lunch with the same people I'm having lunch with?
You're not going to give a first name?
Are you stalking me? No, I'm not going to tell you the first name. I even asked him too. Did Jim Ed ask you if he'd go to your house? He goes, not yet. I go, okay, I got first dibs then.
Well, then you might as well say who it is.
Nope.
All right.
Because you sometimes you can kind of bulldog your way.
I hope it's not John Ganster, because I'm going to his house to do his.
I'm done with John G. He's still in, old Johnny. He's out. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, I think that's good for scaling. Let's talk about my failed experiment to get a second Facebook account.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. How's that going?
Not so great. And I just realized the more I think about this, like, first of all, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I even doing this? I think there's many reasons why Amazon could be saying no. In fact, I looked. They said your videos don't meet the quality. There was one view for one of my videos. They didn't even watch my videos. Unfortunately, I spelled something wrong. It could be something as simple as that. It's this little Firminator, and I spelled F-I-R-M instead of F-U-R. It could be, they spelled Firminator wrong. But I really think they said, wait a second, this guy already has an account. It's the same address. It could be as simple as that. So I'm just barking up the wrong tree trying to get. So here's what it's like. We have all these people we're working with. So our buddy JB, James Brown, so that's a common enough name. I don't think we'll, is it PII? Sure, but there's a million James Browns.
What's PII?
Oh, personally identifiable information.
Yeah, I think you'll have a pretty hard time tracking down the James Brown that we're talking about.
That's one thing that I didn't miss very much about my other job is talking about PII all the time. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't talk about that where I work.
You don't care about that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so James Brown, so he's interested in doing this program. He's interested in getting up to speed on this. So what he is right now, he's kind of working on his videos. He's working on his Facebook account. So this seems to make a lot more sense to me. Let's work with James Brown to get him up and going, and there's some others we're still working on with, but slow and steady. But what was interesting about this, we were talking about this, there's some people we're working with, they're doing well, I say monetarily, so I kind of get it that they're like, yeah, this seems interesting, it may be too much, kind of like they're doing the costs and benefits, it's like, it may not be worth my time at this point, So although to see the numbers he's making, $4,000 and $5,000, I would think it'd be worth it. But I think sometimes people look and say, yeah, he's doing good. I don't have time to put up 400 videos though. So, but you have this other person. I know there's different income levels. This guy that we're working with, he's younger. He's single. He's got an apartment. He's got a good steady job. But I'll put it this way, a couple $1,000s to him will definitely move the needle. Now, someone who's making six figures, it may not move the needle that much, okay? But for this guy, it will.
Yeah.
It can very well move the needle. So
there's lots of people.
This really got his attention.
You got to keep in mind, for a household income, married couple, maybe with kids, I think in the U.S. it's in the 60,000. So
yeah.
You got to. My goal is to hit 60,000 with this Amazon deal for myself. So when people are looking at it, yes, and let's just imagine, depends on where you live. If you live in middle America, where $60,000 gets you a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, a nice comfortable life, you add on another $500 a month, that is a game changer. And James kind of fits in that category. He's a younger fella. I know James as well. He's getting his stuff going, getting things figured out. And looking at this, I mean, he could double his income inside of a few months if he had some success with this. Now, the flip side of that is a lot of times when you're a younger fella and you're either in an apartment or sharing an apartment, the stuff's not all around you as much to review, but James
Yeah.
is like us. He's got a large network of people he could
He
be
does.
working with as well. So, yeah, if you're in that six-figure category, this may not be for you. It probably is. If you're well into the six-figure category, meaning you're making $300,000 to $500,000 a year, this probably isn't for you. I'm not in that category, so it's definitely for me. But the people that are just kind of getting their career started and making a living, but not a great living yet, this could be just fuel on the fire, awesome stuff.
And I'll also say I had a full-time job where I didn't necessarily need to make that much more money, but since I had time and I love the entrepreneurial, I just had that spirit I always have. It made sense for me to try this. But what's happened to me is I've lost that revenue stream, my full-time revenue stream. So now it's like, oh wow, that $1,000 is good. That extra couple $1,000s is good. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So you might have in mind, like I talk to so many people. It's like this one guy we're talking to, he's working 50 to 70 hours on his day job.
No, this is not James Brown. This is
It's
somebody
another
else.
person. And you're like, wow, I mean, that's crazy. And he's probably making good money, but there's people in my other job that were working crazy hours. They're making good money. Okay. So, but at some point you look and say, is this what I want to do with my life? Do I want to work this many hours, not have enough time for my family? And with my side hustle now, I have a lot more time to be able to spend time with my wife, my friends. I'm going to lunch with my friends then I wasn't able to before because I always felt like, well, I'm on the clock. I can't really, oh shoot, I got a message. I got to go, guys. So I never wanted to have a long, you know, with Jim Ed, like you're always like, you want to go lunch? You want to drive 10 minutes to meet me? Can't, dude, I don't have time. That's a different story, although I'm not getting invited anymore to lunch for some reason. But anyway, we'll talk about it offline. But so anyway, it's a totally different thing when your side hustle becomes your full time. You're the boss. There's so many things that come with that where you have flexibility with your day job. So, but this person who's working all these hours, it may not be for him. It may be like, you're making a lot of money, man. I know you're busting it. Maybe for you, the advice could be maybe try to find a job where you're not working so many hours. But then you can start this side hustle, Amazon influencer, and start making some money. I would say Amazon influencer to replace your day job by itself. Wow. I mean, there's some people who are close to doing that, but I would say I would never encourage you to, if you have a couple good, like when you made your $5,000 or $6,000, I know you're like, oh my gosh, here we go. I would still say don't quit your day job. And we were talking about that the whole time. So I don't think we've ever said quit your full-time position because of Amazon influencer. Okay?
I would say it.
You would say it?
Here's when I would say it. Here's when I would say it.
Yeah.
You've got somebody that's making $2,000 a month at their day job, $2,500 a month at their day job. They start doing this and they start making $1,500 a month. They start eclipsing what they're making at their day job. Quit your day job, because here's the thing: in our economy right now, if you're making $2,500 a month and you go to Amazon and you start making $2,500, $3,000 a month, hit that full time. See if you can get that up to $4,000 or $5,000 a month. If the curtain falls on Amazon and it goes down to half or a quarter of that, go find another job. You were only making $2,500 a month. Go find a part-time job where you can deliver food and make $1,500 a month and still have lots of time to shoot videos. But no. Do I need to quit my job? No. But if you're not already on a professional career track and you find yourself good at making Amazon videos, you're now in the program, you're making good money, I don't see a problem quitting your job.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with some of it. But my only concern is if it's your only stream of income is just this one. Like you had your main job that you're getting paid $2,000 every month or $3,000 every month. You get steady clockwork. You do influencer and you have one month you make $3,000. You're like, I'm done. What if the next month you get on to $1,500 because Amazon changes some stuff? Then you're like, what happened? So I would say,
well, you need to be responsible. You need to start saving some of your money. You need to have a good emergency fund. And also, I'll add right now, this is not financial advice. This is just a couple of guys talking. Don't go quit your job because I said to, or don't go keep your job because Andrew said to. Just listen to us talk. This
Right.
isn't financial advice.
Right. And my advice is if you're going to do this, have multiple side hustles potentially. Right. So in my case, I've got two that I'm really focusing on now: Amazon Influencer and Amazon, FBA. So those two are going to be potentially enough to sustain me. So I would say, if you have your time also. Your time's very important. If you're able to fill 40 hours with Amazon Influencer and you're like really seeing those numbers move, then great. But if you find that, you know what, I'm sitting around trying to like wait for someone to get home from work so I can go to their house, twiddling your thumbs, maybe you should be doing something else also. So I feel like you should try to fill your time. There's some book like 4 hour work week. You don't need to work 40 hours. Okay, but in general, if you have you need to fill that time to do something that's resourceful. It's going to make some money. I mean, I hate for someone to do Amazon Influencer and make $2,000 and be watching Netflix all day long, right? There's situations where you should probably definitely keep your job. If you've got a job you're working 40 hours and it's like 9 to 5, and you have time, like our buddy James, he's done by 2:30. He starts early. He got the rest of his day to spend on doing this. So right now it's like it's not that stressful a job for him, right? Why not keep that whatever the money he's making and then do Amazon Influencer as well and double his income? Why should he quit that day job?
Well,
So
if I was a young person in
Yeah.
his situation, I would definitely try to get on the Amazon Influencer program.
Yep.
We'll help him with that.
Yep.
And then after that, I would start banking everything I'm making from the Amazon Influencer program. We've talked about his finances a little bit, and we know he does have a little extra money every month. I would make that little bit of extra money, and then I would save all of the Amazon extra money. The cool thing about the Amazon thing is it's 60 days behind. So
Yeah.
you do know what's coming over the next
Right.
couple of months before you ever get it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
he can kind of make some plans. And yeah, but you're right. I mean, he could be busy during the morning, but you know the deal too, though. You get home at 2:30, 3 o'clock, spend a couple hours or so on that, and then
Yeah.
you're kind of getting tired. Just imagine. I just would like to imagine what I could do if I had 6 weeks of Amazon Influencer, no day job, just spend 40 or 50 hours a week, hire a part-time person to hold the camera for me, and just shoot videos.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, man, at the end of the day, when I get home, I'm tired. I have to go. Okay, we got to go get a couple videos done. Let's get a few done.
Yeah, that's a conversation we've had a lot also. It's like he's getting to the point where it's like, how can I scale this? He's tired. He's exhausted. His wife wasn't feeling very good. He's had some long days at work. So
We got behind.
how do you keep doing this? But sometimes you get tired. And if someone can still push you and you're still like, I'm done. But so then it gets to the point where, this is a common theme that I've said many times. It's like, I think this comes from Jim Cochran, one of these guys that's over one of the Amazon Facebook groups I'm in. And he basically says, and I don't know if the language is perfect, but it's do the things you can do. Do the things only you can do. The rest you should delegate those things. So for you, it's like, can you find someone to hold, to video your stuff for you instead of your wife maybe because she's busy? Can you find maybe someone to help you organize your videos in a spreadsheet, right? For me, with my businesses, I'm helping people are boxing my stuff for me. Reordering. I'm doing the reordering for my Amazon business. Can I have someone else do that? Product listings. Can I have someone else do that? Why am I doing that? So there's always be thinking about ways. And so with this, for instance, and this is something some of the students we've been teaching is they're like, can we outsource the video creation? Can I have someone else do this? Absolutely. Why not? So there's nothing in Amazon's terms that says you can have someone else do videos for you. So that's, to me, it's like light bulbs go off.
Yep.
But Jim Ed, like you call yourself the talent, like he does a good job with stuff. He knows that stuff. So you can't just say, hey kid, you're home from high school. Can you review this power tool I'm using? No. I mean, maybe he could. Most likely he can't. You have experience in those areas. But are there some other things like, hey, here's some toothpaste. Here's a toothbrush. Here's some simple household products. Or maybe some other person has some stuff that you don't have. Maybe they're authority about some other things. Why not have that person do it? We talked about this also. Like, Is it possible you just pay someone, $5, $10 to help you do some videos? That may be better for them than them setting up a social media account and being an Amazon influencer themselves. They may like the idea of doing this. So always be thinking about ways to delegate what we're doing here
Yeah.
to make more money. So to scale it.
Yep, absolutely. Well,
Cool. Awesome. All right. So, Jim Ed, so where can people find us?
You can find us on Side Hustle Heroes HQ. The best place to look is our Facebook group. But beyond that, you can also find us on the YouTube channel, also on TikTok and Instagram. But again, hit us up on the Facebook group. That's the best place to get connected, ask questions, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and if you want something more private, you don't really want this to be in the Facebook group, I get it. Just email us at sidehustleheroeshq@gmail.com. We'll definitely respond. We've definitely received some good emails from you guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. YouTube is where you can get the video. Lately, I know if you mentioned like, hey, the first couple were on video on Spotify. Just for now, it's audio on Spotify and other podcast channels. If you want the video, go to YouTube. Okay, so that's the way it's worked right now. Technically speaking, we've had some issues with the video feed for some reason with Spotify. So that's what we're doing right now. So anyway, thank you so much for our listeners and have a great day.